The thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Last time, you remember, Rocky and Bullwinkle, who were stranded in the desert, got a ride in a long limousine. It was only when they were inside the car that they found it had...
No window cranks.
No door handles.
Must be one of those economy models.
No, sir, Bullwinkle. Something's wrong here. Hey, mister!
But as Rocky shook the driver's shoulder, his hat fell off.
Bullwinkle, he's a dummy.
Please, Rock, you were speaking of our host.
But look, he really is a dummy.
So he is.
You know what that means, Bullwinkle?
Yeah, he must have cheated on his driver's test.
No, it means we're going 80 miles an hour with nobody at the wheel.
Here, let me get it, Rock.
And Bullwinkle grabbed the steering wheel only to have it come off in his hand.
I was right. It is the economy model.
Meanwhile, a short distance ahead, Boris and Natasha were still wondering how to keep our friends from getting to Mount Flatten ahead of them.
Hey, Moose and Squirrel just got picked up by limousine.
They'll be here in a minute, darling. We must think fast.
Think hard, Natasha.
And Natasha did think hard and came up with a brilliant idea.
I will change the road signs.
So without telling Boris, Natasha changed the road signs to direct traffic over a nearby cliff.
Oh, Boris will be so proud of me.
Then, unfortunately, Boris had the same idea.
Hey, I got it. I changed road signs.
And he unwittingly changed the signs back to the way they should be.
Natasha will be so proud of me. It's all settled, Natasha. Let's go.
Turn right here, Boris.
Don't be silly, Natasha. I changed the signs.
But Boris, so did I!
And the motorcycle went off the road and plummeted downward.
After this, Natasha, remember who is brains of this outfit. I figure way out of things.
Hey, brains.
Yeah?
Figure a way out of this.
Oh, boy.
And the motorcycle plunged into the treetops below and came to rest hanging from a branch.
Well, here we are, safe with sound.
Meanwhile, as they say, Moose and Squirrel are beating us to Mount Flatten, Mr. Brains.
Natasha wouldn't have felt so bitter if she knew our friend's plight. The limousine did take the right turn at the detour, but then started down the mountain road at breakneck speed.
Get the wheel back in, Bullwinkle.
I'm trying, Rock.
I'll see if I can turn off the engine.
Unfortunately, there were far too many buttons and knobs on the dashboard, and Rocky accidentally turned on the radio instead.
All right, you guys, sit still.
Yes, sir.
Put your hands up.
Anything you say.
This is the end for you, rats.
I had a hunch it was. Oh, they got me, Rock.
Stay tuned now for the second half of Mike Mallet, Public-Private Eye. But first, a brief word from our sponsor.
Bullwinkle, it was just the radio.
I'm not dead and killed and all.
No, but it looks like it's just a matter of time.
Fortunately for our friends, the road just then opened out to a flat straightaway.
Boy, that was pretty hair-raising.
You were telling me.
I wonder how we made it down safely.
I'm not sure we did.
Bullwinkle, look at the wheel. Something or somebody's steering this car by remote control.
The brainy squirrel had done it again, for in a darkened room miles from the car, a strange figure was directing their course with a number of push buttons. Unfortunately for our friends, while they were traveling forward at high speed, the figure punched a button marked reverse. And the car was immediately torn in half.
Oh, fudge.
Well, who is this clumsy stranger? Maybe we'll find out next time in Fender Benders or the Asphalt Bungle.
Once upon a time, there was a king named Midas. He was a very greedy king indeed. The one thing he loved most in the world was
gold.
The one thing he had the most of was
Gold.
and the one thing he wanted more of was
Gold, gold, gold.
So he sent his tax collectors into the kingdom to do his gold gathering for him. As the people grew poorer and poorer from being taxed, Midas grew richer and richer. Finally, the people were reduced to living on a diet of turnips. As a result, King Midas began to get the funny feeling that people didn't like him very much.
I need to do something to make people like me. Then I can tax them even more.
So the king called a meeting of his advisors, Bobble, Bangle, Bede, and Benson.
Gentlemen, I must be made popular.
Well, sire, I'm just talking off the top of my thatch.
What is it, Benson?
Well, what about lowering the taxes? We could... That wasn't it, huh?
The next day, the king called another meeting of his advisors, Bobble, Bangle, and Bede.
Well, let's put this idea on the rack, see how it stretches, KM. We'll point out your warm human qualities.
What warm human qualities?
Well, you must have some.
Like what?
Dogs. Everybody likes dogs.
I hate dogs!
I can see it now. Heralds all over the kingdom, posters on every wall. Midas loves mutts.
Hear ye, hear ye! This day, King Midas will free all dogs in the royal dog pound.
Sure enough, as the people watched, the king let all the dogs loose.
Maybe he's not all bad. Animals like him.
Your Majesty, would you like to pet Tweaky here?
Oh, how nice! A lovely pussycat. Pussycat!
And the king was instantly buried in a snarling mass of dogs.
Get off, you mutts! Get off! Oh, I hate dogs!
Just as I thought. A fake.
And the people once more pelted the king with turnips. Before, they had just disliked him. Now they despised him. So the next day, Midas called another meeting of his advisors, Bobble and Bangle.
All right, now what?
Well, let's put this in a crossbow and see how it shoots. Midas, you'll slay a dragon.
Me?
You.
Oh, good! Hear ye, hear ye! King to fight dragon!
Maybe there's something good about Midas after all.
Well, on the appointed day, King Midas strode forth to do battle with the fire-breathing dragon, which, of course, wasn't a real dragon at all.
Avaunt, foul fiend!
Unfortunately, as Midas swung, the head flew off his axe and felled a nearby tree.
Another fake!
So the people again let fly with turnips.
Boo, boo, boo.
By now, they didn't just despise the king, they actually hated him. Next day, the king called a meeting of his advisor, Bobble.
Well, Bubble, what now?
Well, sire, let's just throw this in the moat, see if it floats. What about giving you the golden touch?
Isn't that expensive?
Well, not if you just use this spray gun and this cheap gold paint.
Good thinking, Bubble.
The word spread in a flash.
King has gold touch. Midas 24-carat monarch. Big free demonstration.
People came from all over to watch the king turn things into gold. Hats, canes, bushes, even rocks.
That's gold?
Looks like gold?
Yeah.
Feels like gold?
Yeah.
The king says it's gold?
Yeah.
It's gold.
Hooray for King Midas!
Well, the king sprayed more and more things until everything in the kingdom looked as if it were made of gold. Midas, of course, was very popular, but since everybody had more make-believe gold than he could use, gold began to lose its value. Soon, it took a wheelbarrow full of gold just to buy one turnip. But back in his castle, the king was very happy indeed.
Bubble, you've done it. The people like me, and I'm still the richest man in the kingdom.
Not quite, sire.
Huh?
The country has gone off the gold standard.
What? Well, what is the standard now?
turnips.
Turnips?
Yes, turnips it was. And of course, everybody had some turnips. Everybody except King Midas. With nothing but gold, he was the poorest man in his own kingdom.
You mean I'm broke, Bubble?
Looks like, sire.
So the next day, the king called a meeting of his advisors. And of course, nobody was there but him. Today, King Midas lives in a very modest castle on a little side street. He still has lots and lots of friends, and of course, he still has the golden touch.
For those of you who want to soak up some extra knowledge, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, Spongeheads. Today's topic is entitled, How to Remove a Unwanted Guest from Your House and Make More Living Room. Supposing you are on your way home from the butcher shop with 14 hot dogs, and you discover there is a 15th hot dog, one with large teeth and an appetite to match. It is obvious that the 15th hot dog, whom we shall call Spot, has designs on the 14 hot dogs. Just inches ahead of your pursuer, you arrive home safely. Flushed with victory, you examine your 14 hot dogs, only to find that they are now inside Spot. Going to the front door, you flang it open wide and point in the general direction of Boys Town, indicating you wish him to leave. Finding yourself on the outside with the door bolted, you attempt to gain entrance by way of the chimney. En route, you make a sad discovery. Spot is now brewing himself a spot of tea in the fireplace. Fighting fire with fire, we ignite the couch. Soon the fire is completely out of control. The house goes up in smoke. But when the fire has gone out, you discover that Spot has not. 2 days later in your rebuilt home, you sit happily in your Morris chair, finally rid of your unwanted guest.
But Mr. Know-It-All, how did you get rid of him?
Who?
Spot.
Oh, quite simple. I used Spot Remover.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Into the northern region of Canada at the close of the 19th century rode Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties, lonely defender of justice and fair play, handsome, brave, daring, and hopelessly lost.
These service station maps are impossible. Can't even fold up the thing. I think I should have turned left at that last tree.
Meanwhile, a short distance away, Snidely Whiplash was up to his favorite pastime, tying women to railroad tracks. He soon had unexpected company.
A Mountie?
Correct. Pardon me, sir, but do you happen to know the way to the Royal Canadian Mountie Camp?
Why, yes, I do. Oh, this pesky knot. Could you give me a hand, or rather finger?
Always willing to help a citizen in need. There.
Dudley Do-Right of the Mounties, get out of that if you can.
Oh, fudge.
Meanwhile, Nell Fenwick, the beautiful daughter of Inspector Fenwick, was out gathering chestnuts. Suddenly, she stumbled onto the biggest nut of all, Dudley Do-Right.
What, Dudley Do-Right, are you doing with that other woman? I thought you always did right.
I was doing right, Nell. That's how I got in this predicament. But could I tell you about it later? I think there is a train approaching.
And so, Do-Right, there's a fiend running loose in northern Canada.
A fiend, Inspector?
A fiend who goes about Canada tying defenseless women to railroad tracks.
Oh.
I know it must be hard for you to believe, you with your eyes of blue and heart so true. What happened to your finger, Do-Right?
Never mind about my finger, sir. This is far more important than mere flesh wounds. A rope-tying fiend is at large and should be brought in at once.
And so the remorseless man-tracker started on his way. He didn't have far to track.
Here, here. You oughtn't to do a thing like that. Going around tying defenseless people to railroad tracks. It's not the Canadian way.
You think I'm not trying to stop tying? I'm hooked. It's a habit with me now. I swear to you, after I tie up this one defenseless woman, I'm going to swear off, so help me. Could you just put your finger in this knot?
Well, if you think it will help you kick the habit...
Oh, it will.
There.
Yeah.
Curses, foiled again.
Hey, that's my line.
Uh-oh, another woman. He didn't swear off. A man. Confound that whiplash. Nell. Inspector Fenwick. Snidely Whiplash. Snidely Whiplash? Now I wonder.
But Inspector Fenwick did not get his nickname of the Canadian Fox for nothing.
Now, all of you have heard the old proverb, if you give a Snidely enough rope, he'll put his foot in it.
Why, no, Inspector, I don't believe I've heard that proverb.
Don't interrupt, Do-Right. We're going to use deception. We're going to disguise you as Nell.
Me, sir?
With those baby blue eyes, you are a natural.
True.
What the inspector didn't know was that Snidely, realizing that the heat was on, disguised himself as Nell.
Dudley, where are you?
Nell, you heard your father's plan. Go on back to camp. You'll give the whole thing away. Nell, what are you doing? Nell, this is no time for hijinks.
There, Snidely Whiplash. Caught at last. Oops.
So, Snidely Whiplash, you thought you'd catch the Mounties counter-intelligence napping, eh?
But, Father, I'm not Snidely Whiplash.
And don't think you're fooling me with that crummy falsetto voice. You must think we're pretty stupid at headquarters.
Hey, buddy, don't leave stuff laying around in the tracks, huh?
Trying to confuse me, Whiplash? Well, it won't work. As if I wouldn't know my own daughter and my favorite constable. Inspector Fenwick always gets his man.
Well, Nell, I guess all's well that ends well.
My sentiments exactly, Dudley.
Well, it looks as if our heroes have been caught between two fires this time. Not only is Boris Badenov trying to keep them away from Mount Flatten and Bullwinkle's inheritance, but now a mysterious stranger has trapped them in a speeding limousine, which is remotely controlled from a spot miles away. Unfortunately, this new menace pushed the wrong button, and the limousine was torn apart.
Oh, crabapple.
Are you all right, Bullwinkle?
I reckon so. What transpired?
I figure whoever was controlling this car pushed the reverse button.
But where's the bottom of the car, Rock?
A good question, that. For at that moment, the bottom half of the limousine was running through the country, tearing up rocks and cactus. Meanwhile, our friends courageously decided to push on to Mount Flatten on foot across the hot, dry, burning desert.
Boy, what I wouldn't give right now for a nice, cool ice cream soda.
Yeah, sure would taste good.
Then suddenly a fantastic image appeared before Bullwinkle's weary eyes.
A ice cream soda. I really prefer chocolate. With 2 straws, please. Thanks. Now, Rocky! Come here, look!
Where?
Well, don't you see it? A ice cream soda!
Oh, there's nothing there, Bullwinkle.
Of course there is. I'll just grab it. Oh!
That's a cactus you got hold of.
I would have bet it was a soda.
You just saw a mirage, Bullwinkle. You know what a mirage is.
Sure, it's where you park your car.
No, it's an optical illusion. Your eyes are playing tricks on you.
They wouldn't do that. They're friends of mine.
And the indignant Bullwinkle stalked off. Meanwhile, on top of a nearby hill, Boris was unfolding another fiendish plan.
What's that, darling?
Like the man says, Natasha, this is fiendish plan number 346. Now look, here are we A. Here are Moose and Squirrel B. We fire small cannon C. up in the air it goes. And lands on them just as they get to Crossroads X.
X marks the spot, eh, darling?
You said it, kiddo.
But at that moment, there was a sudden interruption.
Boris, coming this way. What is it?
Don't know. Looks like traveling rock garden.
Of course, it was really the limousine chassis covered with rocks and cactus.
It's coming right at us.
Run, Natasha!
Too late, for in just a few seconds, the speeding chassis caught up with the villains and roared onward as they hung on desperately. Meanwhile, high up in the air, the cannon shell whistled wildly on its way as 1,000 feet below, Rocky and Bullwinkle slowly approached the fatal crossroads.
Mirage, my left hind foot. Oh! Disappearing stodies. Never heard of such a... Now look at that, Rock. I suppose you'll tell me that's a mirage. Well, no. Guess it was.
But though Boris and Natasha had been momentarily defeated, our heroes aren't exactly out of trouble.
Come on, Bullwinkle. We're bound to find some water soon.
I can't make it, Rock.
And the mighty moose, unused to the desert heat, collapsed in his tracks. Well, it looks bad and very hot for Rocky and Bullwinkle. Please hold a thought for them. Till next time when we see Burning Sands or the Big Hotfoot.
Well, it looks as if our time has just about run out.
Mine must be a little slow.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop!
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.